What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Steve's Project Car Garage. My name is Steve. It's been a few weeks, right? I've been away. Unfortunately, I haven't had a lot of progress to update you on because I've been waiting on some parts, but those parts have finally come in. So grab yourself a cup of jitter juice and I'll explain to you what's going on. All right, so in the last video, you saw me going over to the machine shop, kind of give you a behind the scenes tour of what they were doing with the engine and the head. And so that's kind of where we've left off. Been waiting on these car parts though, because I can't have the machine shop finish their work until I had the pistons. And that was kind of one of those big things. Now you might be asking yourself, why do they need the pistons? Well, originally I was going to go ahead and just hone the block and just send it. After having a conversation with Ted over at TSI and also with Yasmiro at the machine shop, we have all decided that it is a good idea to go ahead and board the block. So that's what we're doing. We have ordered our oversized pistons. We're going 20 over on the pistons. I got them sitting right here in a box, and it's time to go ahead and get those pistons put together and get them on over to Yasmiro. So that way he can go ahead and get the block board, and we can finally get that out of their shop and get them paid because, well, they deserve it. Let me go ahead and show you some of the other things I'm working on real quick, though, so you can kind of see that I haven't been totally idle for the last couple of weeks, but, you know, kind of show you what's been up. All right, so besides, doing some cleaning around the shop, I've been actually doing a little bit of painting. So this is the old valve cover, and I went ahead and I completely stripped it of the blue paint, if you remember from previous, and I went ahead and I painted it with this really nice VHT silver, which I think is going to be really sharp. And I went ahead and painted the old cap, and I also went ahead and did the timing chain cover. So that was all stuff that needed to be done. I also went ahead and got the engine plate painted. So that was all, again, stuff that needed to be done. I ended up using mechanical means to go ahead and remove the remainders of the gasket, but this is ready to go. That stuff's all ready to go as well. A couple of other things that I did is I went out and I got some custom thrust washers made. These are from Scott Helm with customthrustwasher.com. I talked about these before. And so essentially he has you go ahead and send him the measurement of your end float with the old thrust washers, measure the thrust washers that you took out, and then he'll go ahead and custom machine thrust washers for you that are the appropriate size to give you the correct clearance. So we got those done. Those are ready to roll. Pretty stoked about getting those. I think I talked about these in the last video, but I got my ARP head bolts and connecting rod bolts. So those are all ready to go as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at my order from TSI. All right, so I'm still waiting on some stuff from Ted, but we got a lot of what we needed to get started. So we have a carburetor rebuild kit. Looks like he just gets these right from Rimmers, honestly, but this is to go ahead and do both of the SU carburetors, which are sitting over here next to my jitter juice, ready to roll. So that's going to be project in itself that I really need to get cracking on now that I have this. I can go ahead and get these all cleaned up and rebuilt. So that's on the list. And then I got my rocker arms for the valve train. That is still something that I'm waiting on the shaft for. So I can't get started on that quite yet. These are the pistons. Now I've already opened them up, but I'll show you kind of what we got here. These things are pretty sharp. So these are, like I said, we're going 20 over, and these are the county pistons. And again, I think straight from Rimmer Brothers, but got these guys. So these are looking pretty nice. And then we also have the small end bearings. So when I go ahead and replace these, I'm going to replace the small end bearings. And then get the new pistons done. So that's kind of what's on my list of things for today to be done. I don't know how hard it's going to be. It should be pretty straightforward. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at. So let's get ourselves going and see what we can get done before we get these over to the machine shop tomorrow. All right, so I've already got one of these apart. I just went ahead and I popped the circlips off, and these weren't all that bad. I just kind of wanted to do a reference, though, in terms of which direction these are all, assembled, because they are directional. So we have the front of the engine pointing that way, which means that the connecting portion down here is actually going to be at the bottom. So that's just kind of more a mental note for me than anything. But these guys come right on out. Pistons comes out. And then we've got this guy here with the bearing. So in here we have the bearing, has the hole obviously that goes through it for oil feeding. And I guess that what we're gonna end up having to do is probably just give these a little push, little hit with the press to push these out, see if we can get a new one in, and go from there. So let me see what I can come up with on the press. All right, so removing this bearing was a bit of a hair-raising ordeal. And for a few moments, panic had set in. So I'm going to leave this up to the machine shop. I am going to bring it over to them and I'm going to say, hey, look, can you fix this? Because I am just afraid that trying to press these new bearings in, that I'm not going to get it straight and it's going to gouge and score and cause all kinds of problems. Because removing these, it was tight to remove them. And I mean, I'm looking at it now and I'm comparing the size of the two. Like, there's a pretty gnarly difference in size. And I don't know if I could realistically get these pressed in on my own using my press without really messing something up. So I'm going to let the professionals do it. So with that being said, I am going to go ahead and press pause, and we're going to pick up going to the machine shop in the morning, and we'll have them go ahead and give me their assessment, and yeah, see if we can get the pistons all put together. And I mean, I don't mind putting the pistons together necessarily because that's easy, but it's the bearings that I'm worried about. So anyways, Yasmiro, we'll see you in the morning. All right, so it's now a few days later. I've gone ahead and I've dropped off the new pistons over to the machine shop. They're going to go ahead and get the cylinders bored out 20 over like we had talked about. They've already done the cam bearings, which is great. So I got the cam back from them. And actually just about less than half an hour ago, I went ahead and I got the cam shipped off to Ted with TSI. And they're going to go ahead and do a regrind on the cam itself to give it a nice mild cam profile, which is going to be kind of cool. I got the pistons. I kind of want to experiment with these old pistons. There's nothing I can really do with them. I was thinking about making them into like a little pen holder or something. But I want to experiment with polishing and cleaning up the aluminum, because when I go to do the carburetors, now that I have all those parts, I want to get them nicely polished and make them look sharp, and they're aluminum, so are these. So I should be able to go ahead and do some fun experimenting with that. But in the meantime, I do have some other work to need to do. This is the engine plate for the back, and well, it looks kind of grody. So we're gonna go ahead and get this guy washed up, and then after we wash it, we're gonna get it cleaned up with probably good sanding, get it down to a nice finish, and then we'll throw some paint on it and go from there. So let's get this started. All right, got this thing pretty cleaned up. I hit it with the 80 grit, my DA. That thing did a wonderful job getting a nice cut in it and cleaning it up pretty well. The other side looks pretty decent as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just hit this with some paint. Probably just do the gloss black enamel and get that guy ready. So let me go ahead and get this thing painted. We'll check in with you all in a few minutes. All right, so let me show you the finished product. I'm pretty happy with it. I did get one drip on it, but it doesn't really matter because ain't nobody gonna see it, because there's gonna be an engine on one side and a transmission on the other. But nice and painted, ready to roll. I gave it 2 coats of paint, so I think that this should be more than adequate for what we're doing. So this afternoon though, I got a call from Yasmiro over with the machine shop, and he says that the engine is ready to go. So tomorrow I'm gonna go pick up the engine. So I think that this is a good place to go ahead and wrap up this video, and thank you all for following along. Sorry this video is really kind of just abstract and not a whole lot of action going on here, but honestly that's kind of the way things have been for the last few weeks as I've been waiting on parts. But as you can see, as soon as I get parts, I get into the machine shop, boom, 2 days later it's done. Machine shop has been fantastic to work with. So if you haven't done so already, go ahead and check them out on Instagram. Timotest Machine Shop here in Orlando. Absolutely fantastic. Yasmiro and his team has just been amazing to work with and super fast. If it wasn't for the fact that I didn't have the parts and I wasn't totally ready to bring it there, they would have had this thing done in probably less than a week, I think. So again, awesome. Props to them. They're absolutely fantastic. Can't say enough. Anyways, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, click the bell to get those post notifications. And oh, by the way, this is my 100th video on this build. I just completely forgot about all that little fact. So happy 100. So thanks for sticking with me, guys. So anyways, when working on project cars like this, make sure that you have all your parts put together before you go to the machine shop. And remember, don't be that dreaded previous owner. Cheers.